Hey, how's it going? It's Jocelyn here with the Positivity in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast, where we try and find positivity through our thoughts to help us find a better pregnancy and a motherhood. I do this podcast because I need the help. I have needed the mindset tools in pregnancy, and I have found some that help, and also in motherhood. And since I have found some of those mindset tools that have helped me, I have a mission and a passion to help you through your motherhood and through your pregnancy. If they are hard and difficult for you, you're in the right place. Today is our Tuesday episode, and on Tuesdays I talk about pregnancy-related topics, and on Friday I do a little bit more motherhood-related topics. So thank you for joining us. Hi, I'm Jocelyn, host of the Positive in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast. I help pregnant women and mothers to find positivity in their season of life through changing their thoughts to work for them and not against them. I help mothers find the small, doable steps in thought and action without making drastic changes to their everyday mom life, and I can help you. Thanks for joining. Hey, how's it going? With it being summer, I thought it would be a good idea to talk about if it is safe to travel during pregnancy. Now, all the information, or a lot of the information that I got for this podcast episode was on the ACOG website, which is the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology, if I can say that word right. And that is is what my doctor refers to quite frequently. So it is a trusted source. Nonetheless, if you want to travel, you need to check with your provider. I am not a medical provider. I am a podcaster who wants to encourage women to have a positive pregnancy. I will share what I've learned on this website, but I also share my own thoughts and opinions regarding traveling in pregnancy and why I've done what I have done, just to help you in this time and season of life. So the first question that we are going to answer in this little traveling during pregnancy episode is it safe to travel during pregnancies? So in a lot of cases, most cases, pregnant women can safely travel until close to their due dates. But travel might not be recommended for some women who have pregnancy complications. So if you're planning a trip, you always need to talk to your OBGYN or other healthcare professional to think ahead and plan ahead about traveling during pregnancy. I had a pregnancy. My first pregnancy ended up, I had preeclampsia, and farther beyond that, I even had HELLP syndrome, which is pretty rare, causing my baby to come 9 weeks early. And I was scared after that. For all my other pregnancies, I was really scared to travel after like 30 weeks because I didn't want to chance anything. I wanted to be close to my doctor, close to my hospital, close to my home, to my surroundings. So for me personally, where I had a first high-risk pregnancy, I preferred not to travel during the later stages of pregnancy. One of my former bosses, though, when she was pregnant, she traveled within like 2 weeks of her due date. She had always had fine pregnancies, and this one actually turned out fine as well. And she just wasn't as risk averse, like it didn't bother her as much to travel, or she wasn't afraid of something going wrong as I was. So it kind of also depends on your personality and how you feel about traveling in pregnancy. So when is the best time to travel during pregnancy? The best time to travel is mid-pregnancy because, as most of you know, those beginning weeks from like 6 to 14 or so weeks are full of being sick. And when I am sick, I don't feel like going anywhere. I don't feel like traveling. I don't feel like going to parties. I don't feel like leaving the house, in all honesty. I get so sick. I remember my brother-in-law was proposing to my now sister-in-law, and he had kind of invited the whole family to go and support, and I was pregnant and sick, and I really wanted to be there, but I was so sick that I could not go. I decided not to go. It was too uncomfortable. And then the high recommendation, or at least the recommendation on the ACOG website, is to 28 weeks. And that's because during those weeks, your energy has kind of returned from that sick phase, and you're still able to get around a little easier. After 28 weeks, it might be harder to move around or to sit for a long period of time. And that's just because you're bigger with baby. And as I told you, my issues, I just got a little afraid to be far away from my home surroundings. So should you talk with your OBGYN before a trip? Yes, you should discuss your travel plans with your OBGYN or your healthcare professional, because they can help you to decide whether it is safe for you to travel or not. It is not recommended for women with certain conditions or complications that include preeclampsia, which is what I had with my first baby, with something called PROM, which is pre-labor rupture of membranes, or if you have history or preterm labor. Those are some recommended issues to probably not travel. Should you have a checkup before you plan to travel during pregnancy? Yes, you should have a checkup and also let them know so that you can be aware of what signs and symptoms to look for if you are concerned while traveling. So now let's talk about some of those signs and symptoms. What are some of those symptoms that you should watch for? If you have vaginal bleeding, pelvic or abdominal pain or contractions, if you have a rupture of your membranes, which also means if your water breaks, if you have signs or symptoms of preeclampsia. So preeclampsia is high blood pressure, a headache that won't go away, seeing spots or other changes in eyesight, excessive swelling of the face and hands, or severe vomiting or diarrhea, you should definitely go in wherever you are at. But those are signs to watch for, and go find emergency medical services right away if you have any of those. Or also signs of deep vein thrombosis, which is DVT. So what about traveling by the air? Is it safe to travel by the air during pregnancy? So for a healthy pregnant woman, occasional air travel is almost always safe. So the former boss I mentioned before, she flew to her trip by airplane. Most airlines do allow pregnant women to fly domestically until about 36 weeks of pregnancy. And I think she did get like special permission to go, even though she was further along than 36 weeks. If you're planning an international flight, however, the cutoff for traveling might be earlier. So you'll kind of have to check with the airline and maybe jump through a few hoops if it's closer to your due date and whatnot, but you mostly can fly during pregnancy. When should you not fly, though? You should avoid flying if you have a medical or a pregnancy condition that may be made worse by flying or could require emergency medical care. So most common pregnancy emergencies usually happen in the first and the third trimester. Those seem to be the volatile stages of when pregnancies can kind of go awry. Right there in the middle is kind of that sweet spot where you're feeling good, your bump is finally showing, and you feel decent enough to travel. So just be aware of during those first and third trimesters, there could be other things that go wrong. There's like more, more things is what's coming to mind. There are more things that could go wrong in that first and third trimester. And do your research. Find out what could go wrong and be aware of it so that you can watch for it if needed. If you are a pre-planner and you really want to make this trip or need to make this trip, maybe it's a wedding or a funeral or something very important to you that you really feel you need to make it to, it would be wise to just be informed, of where the nearest hospital or the medical clinic is in the place you are visiting. You might want to check if they accept your health insurance and which hospitals do or don't, just in case. Because I know if you're like me, you will not want to look into this. It will probably terrify you a little more to look into this. But if you are really planning on this trip and you really want that peace of mind, you will know. Now, likelihood of things happening can be small depending on you and your past history of pregnancy, but there always is that chance. And like I mentioned in the last podcast episode, it's better to be safe than sorry. For me personally, I avoided traveling in the first and the third trimesters of all 4 pregnancies because I was either too sick or too paranoid to go. And to be honest, I really don't regret it. Even missing my brother-in-law's proposal to my now sister-in-law, I was too sick. That trip would have been so miserable if I had tried to make it. I feel good with the decisions I made, and I think that's what's going to be most important for you. For your thoughts and for this pregnancy is to decide what is going to be most important for you. Is it most important to be there, to be to this travel appointment? Or is it more important to stay home and maybe just play it a little bit more on the safe side? That's what you need to decide as mama of the baby that you are carrying inside. You are a miracle, and your body is a miracle. It is a miracle that it is growing a sweet little baby inside and that it does all those processes without you telling it. It really is simply incredible when you think about it. If you need help to find the positivity and the sacred beauty in pregnancy, I have created a program called the Positive in Pregnancy Program, where I personally guide you through videos, the steps and the mindset shifts to help you to find a more positive pregnancy. And I have been writing and adding, well, I haven't added yet, but I'm going to be adding more videos to this course. Currently, there are 22 videos. I already have, I have 6 that are coming together, and I want to get it up to 35. That is my goal for this summer, is to really beef up that course, to make it good, to make you have plenty of options for all the hard phases so that it can help you find positivity. It's only 1 to 2 minutes at a time. It's super doable. You don't need pen, you don't need paper. All you have to do is sit on the couch and let your mind work. Let your mind work through the exercises, and it can be a powerful experience to help you change negative pregnancies into positive ones. Let me help you out in this endeavor. If you are interested or if this is calling to you, it is the top link in the show notes. Click on that link and sign up for the Positive in Pregnancy program. You will find positivity. Mama, you need you. Your children need you. And God needs you. He needs you to raise these children and to be the mama that you desire to be. The woman and the mother that you've always dreamed of. Keep up the good work. I'm cheering for you. Until next time. Thank you for being a part of the Positive in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast. For listening, for sharing, and most of all, for applying these tools into your own life to improve your own happiness so that you can find your own better thoughts for a better you in a positive pregnancy, in losing that stubborn baby weight, and becoming the mom you desire to be through taking small steps in thought and action to reach your goals. If you are a mother who has an inner desire to enjoy motherhood and pregnancy better, but you are having difficulty figuring it out, I can help you. I can help you find the small, doable steps without drastic changes to your everyday mom life. Reach out, let's connect, and let's see you move forward. My name is Jocelyn, and I thank you for listening. Until next time.